There's a lot of people experimenting and finding paths that hadn't existed before and trying to tread them. Getting whacked on the head a lot for trying, but continuing to try and not giving up.
Do you think we're mature enough to bring our children into a better future and guide them?
Not necessarily, no. No. That's why you need positive forces to help you along these paths.
Yeah, you got that right. I'm going to send out for some.
Short of a major change in the DNA code, humanity's like to go on as fucked up and as stupid as it ever was, on one level. There are moments of brilliance and brightness and things to be done and things to be had. But the race as a whole has a dark side.
Right.
That needs to be recognized. And Del, I don't know that you can change it.
Well, you've been able to capture a lot of those moments of brilliance, Paul. I got to say that. You've inspired quite a few people, let's face it. You know, and it is people like yourself that are in the media and what have you that do you feel like a certain responsibility to keep turning people on to that type of philosophy?
I would encourage the space program, for example. It's like one of the major, it's almost a very evolutionary step, like fire or the wheel. It's even bigger than fire or the wheel, actually, because you're getting off the planet. As Timothy says, you're exiting the womb, in a sense, the sort of protective womb of the atmosphere of the Earth. Once you get out into space, beyond gravity, and beyond air, your whole physiology of your body is going to change. You know, you lose your calcium when you go out into space. Why? They don't know. You have to deal with things like that. It's going to be a whole new world.
Maybe it's because there's no space cows. I don't know. It's just a thought I had. But
we don't know. There's a million things like that. You know, we used to have, when I was growing up, we dreamed of walking on Venus and Mars. You know, whatever happened to the space projects? Whatever happened to that glory that everybody felt? You know, it's gone. It's like, it's not gone, but it's been crushed by economic forces that choose to use their money in other ways.
Well,
the amount of things that come just from the space project, from farming and weather prediction and medical advances and robotic advances and technological, meteorological, I mean, there's millions of things that are helping us now that most people aren't really aware of, that have come directly from the space programs.
Well, the Earth, as Carl Sagan would say, is a big spaceship in a lot of ways.
Unfortunately, nobody's driving.
Yeah, well, the people that are driving are letting on.
It's like you're in a spaceship and you want to go up and see the pilot, and you go into the door and you can't even find the door, you know, and there's no driver's seat. So that illusion only holds true to a certain point.
Yeah.
Everybody would like a driver. Some people have God, some people have Krishna, some people have Buddha, some people have the Ayatollah, some people have Pee Wee Herman. As giving them advice and following directions, but there is no driver, and ultimately the driver is inside here. And the concept of spaceship Earth, while interesting, doesn't really apply to the nth degree because there ain't no driver.
There are those that would say, though, we can escape the Earth through our minds.
They're full of shit.
That's right, because the tanks did run them over in Tiananmen Square, no matter what.
Yeah.
How about the existence of UFOs or extraterrestrial beings?
Japan these days is not mightier than the sword. Sorry.
Well, it's mightier than the sword.
They compete on levels at times now and again that are interesting.
You can't compete with a tank, for example.
Well, yeah, the guy in Tiananmen Square did pretty good. Although I heard they hauled him off and shot him later, so it's hard. He projected a good image for people to hold on to. And we need martyrs.
Well, I for one have to congratulate President Bush and like the way he's handling the whole situation personally, because you know we shouldn't make friends with these bastards, but he gets along.
No, I think
totally.
The forces will take that over eventually.
I'm hoping. I think. What do you think is rock and roll as a worldwide means of communication?
Rock and roll is lightweight stuff. It's
just to get a message.
It's entertainment. It's mild illumination. It poses no severe threat to the powers that be, they don't think. But it's poetry, sort of. You lose your voice sometimes when you do it.
Well, you were cranking them out tonight, I'll tell you that much. But as a force of communication, maybe you underestimate how powerful that force is.
Better to underestimate than overestimate. And think too much of yourself, yeah.
Well, the
Stay
message
humble.
may be more important than the South in a lot of ways. In certain, you can't compare Guns N' Roses to the album Blows Against the Empire, for example.
Sure you can.
Well, you can on a commercial on Billboard.
They're both round.
Right. They have a hole in the middle and it's too small, except for me. But other than that, the Blows Against the Empire, I know from when people picked that album up, it was a mind bender. It was more than like a Hugo science fiction.
So you can
award.
imagine what it was for us, like for us making it.
Believe me, I spent many an hour imagining that. Yeah. What was that like? You had incredible personnel in that album.
Whitewater rafting. You basically get on the raft and hang on, and try to keep it under some sort of control. And don't kill yourself or fuck it up completely.
The Rock and Roll Orchestra album seemed to be like a predecessor to that, or like a sequel to Blows Against the Empire.
That's the right word. Precursor? No, not predecessor.
Oh yeah, after
It
that.
was sort of an alternative, actually.
Right.
That was in the sense that the Blows Against the Empire hadn't occurred by 1980, 90, whatever it was. So there's an alternative group of people doing just an alternative universe. There's many alternatives to getting off the planet.
Right.
If we can get off the planet before we blow it up. I don't think we're going to blow it up now. It doesn't look like. But we could all starve to death. Except for a few corporations.
Death, Maybe we could blow it up and have a big roast off or something. But the is this going to be a trilogy now? Now there's a future.
I never plan these things. I haven't the funniest idea.
No
Mostly right now I'm writing about a woman serial killer of Republicans. Started out as one song, and now she's taken over about 3.
It's a great fantasy, I think.
She has it's Swiftian in content, and it's a chuckle where a chuckle's needed. Because if you look at the situation today, really the only 2 alternatives you have are terrorism or alcoholism. If you really want to accomplish something and deal with the circumstances around you, I haven't found a third ism that's really effective.
Well, Paul, you have been doing the thirdism for many, many years, and I will say your message has turned on a lot of people. And you keep.
Well, after my involvement with Nicaragua and Oliver North and all that business, I was ready to go into the mountains and become a full-out terrorist. I realized, being the clumsy person that I am, that I'd probably shoot my leg off or something like that. And fortunately, I have an outlet in song, which is in certain ways more effective, but it would have been very satisfying to just. I had one song where I just go and hang all the senators and congressmen in Washington from phone poles. Start over.
Could I do the video of that? I'd love to do the video.
That'd be good.
I'd like to get the real
Hang them all,
outlet
hang them high from the phone poles in Washington. Or imprison them all in a shopping mall that goes where they can shop for eternity.
That's a great idea. As a matter of fact, if you set that up, I think we get funding for it.
I could get funding for it.
I know all my friends would chip in. As a matter of fact, there's a couple of empty malls around here that would be just the perfect place for those guys.
I was writing that song about the archives, and it's interesting that Oliver got it brought off before I got the song even finished, with them opening up the Kennedy archives. It's one of the good effects now, Oliver Stone.
Oh, Oliver Stone.
Right.
Ah. Yeah,
Don't forget Oliver. Write him a letter. Say thank you. Many people doing shit like that, bothering them. Adolescent, but effective.
And that's where you kind of fit in, too.
We are our part. Yes, we're very adolescent about things.
Well, it's perfect, though. Adolescent, in a lot of ways, though, is innocent and also
brash, taking chances, fucking up with taking chances. The whole 60s was really an adolescent reaction to the killing of Kennedy. Or more importantly, to the Warren Commission report on Kennedy than the killing. I can understand the killing. But being educated as well as we were, having him expect us to accept that kind of garbage is sort of insulting, if nothing else. It's like Marcos in the Philippines telling everybody it's always the communists that are doing the bad things. I didn't do anything. Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious. It's pathetic.
Well, aren't the communists bad?
Of course.
Kind of
as
like
bad as Republicans.
Well, let's not shortchange the Democrats or anybody else in the Congress or the House in a lot of ways.
Well, that's what my serial killer Republican says. There's a few Democrats she could add to her list too. once she gets finished with Republicans.
Well, isn't it the old story about the guy that was head